The year is 2025. The chill has descended upon the 49th parallel, and it's not just the winter weather. The United States and Canada, long the best of neighbors, find themselves locked in a trade dispute of escalating intensity. Gone are the days of easy smiles and cross-border cooperation. In their place, a war of words, tariffs, and retaliatory measures, threatening to unravel decades of economic integration and shared prosperity. The source of this discord? A resurgence of economic nationalism south of the border embodied in President Trump's America First agenda. This policy, aimed at reclaiming American economic dominance, has placed Canada squarely in the crosshairs. The stakes could not be higher. The United States and Canada share the world's largest and most intertwined economies, with billions of dollars in goods and services flowing across the border every day. Millions of jobs on both sides depend on this intricate web of trade. Now, this vital economic artery is at risk of being severed, not by invading armies, but by the invisible hand of protectionism. The question is, can this relationship be salvaged, or are we witnessing the dawn of a new era of trade conflict between two of the world's closest allies? At the heart of this brewing trade war lies a fundamental clash of ideologies. President Trump, since his return to the Oval Office, has doubled down on his America First doctrine. This philosophy, characterized by economic nationalism and protectionist policies, views international trade as a zero-sum game, where one nation's gain is inherently another's loss. Under this doctrine, traditional allies like Canada are no longer viewed through the lens of partnership, but as economic rivals competing for a slice of the global pie. This perspective has led to a series of aggressive trade measures targeting Canada, aimed at protecting American jobs and industries, even at the expense of long-standing economic ties. From dairy to lumber, steel to aluminum, the Trump administration has imposed tariffs and trade barriers, disrupting the flow of goods and services across the border. These actions, justified as necessary to protect American interests, have been met with anger and disbelief in Canada, a country long accustomed to being viewed as a reliable and friendly neighbor. The America First doctrine, with its emphasis on unilateral action and disregard for the concerns of allies, has created an atmosphere of distrust and uncertainty, casting a long shadow over the future of the United States-Canada relationship. While the trade dispute between the United States and Canada encompasses a wide range of industries, certain sectors have emerged as particular flashpoints, symbolizing the depth of the divide. Dairy, a long-standing source of contention, has once again become a battleground. The Trump administration, accusing Canada of unfair protectionist practices, has slapped tariffs on Canadian dairy products, impacting farmers on both sides of the border. This move, while aimed at appeasing the American dairy lobby, has infuriated Canadian producers, who argue that their industry operates within the bounds of international trade agreements. Steel and aluminum, deemed essential for national security by the Trump administration, have also been targeted. Tariffs on these metals, justified on the grounds of protecting American jobs and industries, have dealt a blow to Canadian producers, who supply a significant portion of the United States market. These tariffs, widely criticized as unnecessary and harmful by economists and industry experts, have raised the specter of a trade war, with Canada threatening retaliatory measures. The dairy, steel and aluminum disputes highlight the complex web of economic interdependence between the two countries and the potential for significant economic damage as trade tensions escalate. Faced with an increasingly aggressive and unpredictable neighbor, Canada has been forced to abandon its traditionally conciliatory approach to trade relations. In response to United States tariffs and protectionist policies, the Canadian government has adopted a two-pronged strategy: retaliation and retrenchment. Retaliation has come in the form of carefully calibrated counter-tariffs targeting specific American goods entering the Canadian market. These measures, while not seeking to escalate the conflict, send a clear message that Canada will not be a passive victim in this trade war. By striking back at politically sensitive sectors, Canada aims to inflict economic pain on key constituencies in the United States, hoping to pressure the Trump administration to reconsider its course. Retrenchment involves reducing Canada's reliance on the United States market. This strategy involves diversifying trade relationships, seeking out new markets for Canadian goods and services. The goal is to lessen Canada's economic dependence on its southern neighbour, mitigating the impact of future trade disputes. The economic battlefield industries under fire. The escalating trade tensions between the United States and Canada are not just abstract economic concepts, they are having real-world consequences for industries and workers on both sides of the border. In the United States, manufacturers who rely on Canadian steel and aluminum are facing higher input costs, making their products less competitive. Consumers are feeling the pinch as well, as tariffs on Canadian goods translate into higher prices for everything from cars to groceries. In Canada, the impact is even more pronounced. Industries like steel, aluminum, and lumber, heavily reliant on exports to the United States, are facing job losses and plant closures. The uncertainty created by the trade dispute has also dampened investment, further slowing economic growth. The agricultural sector, already grappling with low commodity prices, has been hit hard by US tariffs on Canadian dairy and other agricultural products. Farmers, the backbone of many rural communities, are facing an uncertain future as their access to the American market shrinks. Energy independence, a new front in the trade war. As if the existing trade disputes weren't enough, a new front in the US-Canada economic conflict is emerging. Energy. President Trump's pursuit of American energy independence, a cornerstone of his America First agenda, has the potential to further strain relations with Canada, a major energy exporter. Canada is the largest foreign supplier of oil to the United States, accounting for a significant portion of American energy needs. This reliance on Canadian energy, however, runs counter to Trump's vision of American energy dominance. The Trump administration has taken steps to boost domestic oil and gas production, aiming to reduce dependence on foreign energy sources, including Canada. While the United States is still years away from achieving true energy independence, the shift in policy is already sending ripples through the Canadian energy sector. Reduced demand from the United States, Canada's primary energy market, could have a significant impact on the Canadian economy, particularly in provinces like Alberta, where the oil and gas industry is a major employer. The pursuit of energy independence, while appealing to some segments of the American public, risks alienating a key ally and destabilizing the North American energy market. It remains to be seen whether the economic and geopolitical benefits of energy independence outweigh the potential costs to the US-Canada relationship. Beyond the border, Canada looks for new alliances. With the future of its economic relationship with the United States uncertain, Canada has been actively seeking to diversify its trade portfolio, forging new alliances and strengthening existing ones. This pivot away from its traditional reliance on the American market is driven by a desire to reduce its economic vulnerability and hedge against future trade disputes. One avenue Canada has been pursuing is strengthening ties with other like-minded countries, particularly those who share its commitment to free trade and multilateralism. This has led to the negotiation and implementation of trade agreements with the European Union, Japan, and other Pacific Rim nations. These agreements, by providing access to new markets for Canadian goods and services, offer an alternative to the increasingly protectionist United States market. Canada has also been actively engaging with emerging markets in Asia and Latin America, recognizing the growing economic clout of these regions. By building stronger economic ties with these countries, Canada aims to reduce its dependence on the United States market, ensuring its economic future is not held hostage to the whims of a single trading partner. The road ahead, trade war or truce. As the trade dispute between the United States and Canada drags on, the question on everyone's mind is, where do we go from here? Will this conflict escalate into a full-blown trade war with devastating consequences for both economies? Or can a path towards resolution be found, preserving the decades-long economic partnership between these two North American neighbors? The answer, unfortunately, is far from clear. The Trump administration, emboldened by its America First ideology, shows no signs of backing down from its protectionist policies. Canada, for its part, seems determined to stand its ground, unwilling to be bullied into submission. The stakes are incredibly high. A prolonged trade war would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the United States and Canada, but for the global economy as a whole. It would undermine the rules-based trading system that has underpinned global prosperity for decades, ushering in an era of uncertainty and protectionism. Yet, even amidst the escalating tensions, glimmers of hope remain. Both countries, despite their differences, recognize the deep economic interdependence that binds them. The potential for mutually assured economic destruction may yet serve as a powerful motivator to find common ground. The path forward will require compromise and a willingness to listen to each other's concerns. If both sides can move beyond the rhetoric and focus on finding practical solutions, there is still a chance to salvage this vital relationship and avert a trade war that no one can win.